Okay, pushing onward. So we have our mirror images. So right here we have a P4 based unwarped guitar tuning. That means all P4. So up here on the root is going to go to 4. It's not going to go to 3 because this is just a pattern build. And remember, with pattern builds, we never know where that warp's going to be. We never know where that pattern's going to hit the G and the B string, and then we just simply move the pattern over a half step in order to be able to play that pattern, right? So that's what we do. So I'm going to start the little square about a half step over. And this is the best way to do it. Here, you know it's going to be about one note over, and it might be safe to go like that. And then we just adjust from there. So where's that root? Let's look for that. Let's look for the interval that we need. We need root to 3. Okay? And that likely goes there. Alright, so that is our warped. That is our warp. That's the regular C box. That is our regular C box, okay? So we put Mr. Capo on, and we're in the key of C. Right there is our 3, 6, 2, 5. Where the C is now a B. Okay, so that's no longer valid. Okay, that C is actually right here. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. Now that C is a note. This C is a string shape. So there's a difference there. Okay, we're back. So I put it back to regular unwarped tuning. So now we have our perfect mirror image. And then what I've done is straightened out the image, right? We got to straighten out the 3, the 4, the 5, the 6 so we can read them. And we have our equal shaped pattern. So this pattern is equal to this, okay? Now, the thing we have to remember though is this is 6 strings and this is 5. So we're missing a string down here, okay? And what string would that be? Okay, now we've got equal shape pattern, not mirror image. So we would be missing the bottom string down here. Here's root. This is where 7 was. So here's our root 7, and we are missing this string, okay, from the bottom here. These are the equal shape patterns. So why do we select not to have the bottom string there? Okay, and there's a reason for that, and I did tell you that before. And I'll just review it now because it's starting to escape me too. Because we don't need the duplicate string. We only have a 5-string instrument, okay? And we want to preserve up here, we want string shape information. So we're going to have, this is going to become the bottom string. The top string becomes the bottom string. We're going to use that as a cage definer, and we're also going to use the new bottom string, which is a 4th up from that imaginary bottom string, as a cage definer for the cello and the fiddle. So that is the name of that tune, and I've done that with the 5 cages to get these familiar patterns, okay? And now I've renamed this. So notice we have CEG up here, but down here we have EAC. Why is that? Because we don't have the bottom string there, and the string shape above in P5 tuning, as you go up, the string shapes go up in fifths. So if we had down here, we had a C down here, okay, we had C string shape down here, we're going to have the 5th of C, the 4th rather, it says a 4th right there. They don't go up in fifths. The actual string intervals go up in fifths. The notes go up in fifths. That's what I call it, P5. Sorry, my bad there. They go up in fourths. The string shapes go up in fourths. So the 4th of the C string shape is the E string shape, and it's tripentatonic C-E-G, so the fourth of E is C-E, the fourth of E is A. Okay, so we've got A, and then G, the fourth of G is C. So we're going to have a new designator on the bottom of these 5 strings. It's going to be the fourth of this string right here. Where did that string? This string is the bottom string is going to become the top. So if the definer for cello, fiddle, violin, the bottom string definer is going to be the fourth of the top string because we only have 5 strings. So let's go ahead and get to today's chart, 459. Okay, voila, here it is. Now I suppose it would be a good idea to just spend a little time. We got chart 459, cage, mirror images, P5 and P4 tuned fretboards. Imaginary P5 is below the bottom string. Remember we talked about that, right? Real bottom string shaped definers. What do we mean by real bottom string shaped definers? Okay, well we mean that in particular, I knew that would be kind of like, that was just a shot in the dark. A real bottom string. Here's a real bottom string shaped definer, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would be the D is the real bottom string, and also the real top string shaped definer here of the mirror image is going to be 5, 6, 7. These are fifths of one another or fourths of one another, depends on which way you look at it. Here's our imaginary string on the bottom, which is what that was. That title was referring to. The imaginary P5 below the bottom string. Okay, so that was kind of a hodgepodge description, just so I could identify what I was doing. So let's look at this again and give a little attention to up here in the corner here. We have intervals. So this is regular P4 tuned intervals. These are pattern stacks. These are valuable. Everybody uses them. A lot of people use them. Like half the people who play guitar use them. The other half maybe read music off of, or just know the scales, and that's how build the scales the way they build, whatever. But a lot of people use these P4 tuned patterns. So here's the patterns in P4. So this is just a P4 tuned fretboard, which isn't a good idea to have it. It's better to look at it in a pattern diagram. So these are the arpeggios. We have the first or second and third inversion. Okay, so with the minor. Now the minor's on top of the major here because I did the mirror image of this and then labeled it and found out, oh wow, I got the mirror image first, but that's okay. Usually I put major up top. In this case, major on the bottom, on the top. So it's root 3, 6. So these are the arpeggios for root 3, 6 on regular guitar. So it'd be 6 root 3, say in A minor. So it'd be 6 root 3, 6 root 3, like that. We've had lessons like that last year. And then the other inversion would be 3, 6 root, like that. The major would be 5 root 3. Okay, now we know this is an E shape right here. Now root 3, 5. So here's our E shape, even though it's on the bottom there. Just look at the shape. Action fingers, E shape. 5 root 3, E shape. Okay, 5 root 3. And if this is an E, B, E, and G sharp. Action fingers. 5 root 3. Okay, so that's E shape. Then we have G shape, root 3, 5. Then we have like D shape or something, which is 3, 5 root. Okay, and that's all it is. And then we go back to E shape. That's perfect fourth tuning. The only thing that forms the other shapes like the A shape and the D shape and the A minor and the D minor shape and other minors and majors up there and half diminished, is